Clipper Nation, welcome to your favorite show, Full Clip Clippers Unleashed. And you know, we have to talk about it. James Harden. Who said James Harden can't play defense? Damn it, he might be first team because he even guards his own teammates. We got that, and we got a special guest. I can't wait for this show to get started, baby. As you can see, Clipper Nation, I'm so excited for tonight because I am losing my breath. This morning, man, it's going to be so much fun. I have a dope guest. My guy, Beav, is back in town with me. But shout out to my guest. Let's get this going, guys. You guys ready? But we got my guy, Pavy, here, representing that Hoops N Brews. Welcome to the show, man.
My man, thank you for having me, man. Appreciate it, guys.
And of course, straight back from the ATL, my guy, Beav, we are here to talk these Clippers. So, Clippers Wednesday night was able to pick up a victory, 116-103, on the road against the Trailblazers. So crazy that they're going to be back there again tonight. But just what's you guys' thoughts of that performance? Paul George played well. Kawhi Leonard played well. Hell, James Harden, 19, 14 assists, and he's playing defense against both teams. What's your thoughts? We're going to start with you, Pavy.
I mean, they did what they should have. I mean, obviously, the season's winding down. You can't afford to drop games to the Blazers.
Yeah.
Shout out Portland, but, like, you can't afford to drop games to a team that's clearly they're not playing – they're going to the lottery.
Yeah.
Not playing for it. They're going to the lottery. So they did what they should have. Like, I mean, and that's pretty much my whole opinion on it. They did what they should have. They should win again on Friday. Mm-hmm. These are the games, especially when the season's running down, and, like, you look at the standings in the West – from 4 to really, honestly, 10, and I got to drop that low, but from 4 to 10, everybody's kind of bunched up together.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure you start winning games, picking up some rhythm as you head into the playoffs.
Beav, what's your thoughts with the Clippers that got this victory? Did they make you happy, man?
Nah, I looked at it like, after you get a whooping so many times.
Never accepted love.
After you get a whooping so many times from your parents, you got to start acting right eventually, right? So that's what necessarily happened with the Clippers. Eventually, they kept getting their butts whooped. It was either it was a slow whooping or it was a fast one. But after so many times, you start putting wins together. So it is step one of a master's plan of the schedule that's coming up, in which they have to dominate these upcoming teams coming up.
So the Clippers, they were missing some guys. Of course, we know Russ is out. Norman Powell hasn't played the past couple games. At one point, he looked like he was on crutches, but now he's able to practice. But when you see your big three, that's what they're going to have to depend on. Paul George was able to put in 28 points, 27 points for Kawhi Leonard, and then James Harden with his 19 and 14. Can we expect that from that big three for this team to make that push? Or who are we looking to out of that big three that has to step it up and be a better player?
Yes, you should be able to expect that from them. We talk about 3 future Hall of Famers, and, like, that's what you – like, if you go out there and get James Harden, you get James Harden to give you – like, he ain't got to be Houston Harden, but you want to at least give you 18 and 10. Like, if we can't get that, why would we make that trade? We could have just – he could have stayed in Philly, or somebody else could have traded for him. But the other person, obviously, he's hurt right now, but Russell Westbrook. Yeah. I mean, I think that the last couple of years of Russ have made people forget – this is Russell Westbrook. This is the first ballot Hall of Famer. The second he retires, he's going straight to Springfield.
Yes.
And even when he does play, like, you can tell there's so many games when he was there, it, like, he come in early fourth. It was kind of in a rut. Game is slow. He's still fast as ever.
Yep.
He's still one of the fastest people in the league in the end. He just changes the speed, and he does things that other guys don't do. He's been defending this year because he doesn't have to play 40 minutes and get a triple-double. His rebounding, still rebounding the basketball, which is huge. So the other person I like to step up outside of those 4 guys is Russell Westbrook.
Okay.
He's hurt, but he just broke his hand. Yeah. It's not like a lower extremity injury. I'm sure he's in shape. He'll come back. He'll be fine.
So they're going to need that guy, especially. We know how important he is, Mr. Triple-Double himself. But out of the big three, we always talk about PG. Is that the guy that you're going to continue to press his button? Or are you looking at James like, yo, you got traded here. You need to make something happen?
I'm not going to stop pressing Paul George button. Every night he can get on a podcast and tell me how he feels and what color the moon and the stars is, and I'm not going to stop pressing him because when you as one of my superstars, right, like I said before James got here, and you're sitting here struggling talking about we don't have an identity, that's a lot of question to me. That's very alerting to me. am I getting the Paul George that was once in the bubble that lost his mental? Or am I going to get the Paul George that just know how to get a team to the Western Conference and continue to be a dog in that element? So which version I'm getting? It's like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. Every time I'm looking at PG is quietly on I would say a 5-game stint where he's balling out of control. But am I going to get a PG where he goes quiet as hell and get real stagnant again? So I'm always going to be on PG. James Harden, I just need for him not to play defense against my own players, and I'll be okay.
So we have to talk about that. It was a viral moment. Everybody like, what is going on? But I forgave him because he was able to go and get the rebound, get the assist to Amir Coffey there. But what the hell was what was James Harden thinking with that closeout?
I mean, I think he was just having fun. You know, again,
Okay.
we're in Portland. I think they were up 20 at the time.
Yeah.
In theory, we're not going to lose this game. If we do, we have much bigger issues. If we lose a 20-point lead to Portland, we have much bigger issues. I remember when LeBron did that in Atlanta. I think he did it to Schroeder, if I'm not mistaken. It was just funny because Kawhi missed the shot.
That's
like
what,
if he made it, it's like, all right, whatever. We probably not even talk about it right now. But the fact he missed the shot is what makes it funny. But I think he was just having fun.
What's your thoughts? I know you're not a fan of it.
I'm not a fan of it. Don't play with your fool, because we've been up 20 points before, and we all of a sudden magically just lost the lead in regards to that. I know the teams have the superstars like that, but I always say don't play with your fool. I know he's trying to keep the lighter mood, but to keep the mood even lighter is just executing and winning. If you were to execute and win games, you could be front running right now. And like Tyronn Lue said in the interview, you know, it's always cool to front run, but when you hit a rough spot, I hit a rough spot when I was 0-6 waiting on James to get it right. We was winning. Now I'm hitting enough rough spot when it's hot and cold again. It's like, give me some good substance, right?
Yeah.
I went from, you know, eating top ramen to eating steak and lobster to back to top ramen. No, I want to keep eating good.
Steak and lobster, got to keep it there.
Yeah.
But that's what I think has a lot of Clipper fans frustrated, because they're like, yo, we saw how great we were, but now we're kind of taking these steps back, and we have James Harden, we have Kawhi Leonard, we have Paul George, we have Russ, Norman Powell, you know, who I believe should be the 6th man of the year. They have these guys, but it's like they're in this type of rut, and we're going to talk about it more, you know, after this break about, you know, can they turn it on? But it just looks really tough. But when do we say, forget the players, Tyronn Lue, everybody talk about how great of a coach you are. When do we say you need to show us why everybody give you this praise?
Listen, there's been, I forgot what game it was, but there was something, I think it was after the Timberwolves game.
Okay.
He was like, oh, we just didn't show mental toughness. And I'm like,
ain't that your job?
well, we didn't show mental toughness. Ain't you supposed to instill something in them? Like, what's going on? It's like, yes, I'm with you.
Yeah.
I rock with Ty. I love Ty. I think Ty is an incredible coach. But sometimes I be looking like, brother, I think this might be something you might need to fix. But at the same time, you do have a team full of veterans.
Yeah.
Some things they should just know in theory. Like, you got champions. Kawhi has won championships in 2 different places. James Harden done been all world. He done played 14 years in the league. PG done played 14 years in the league. Norman Powell done won a championship.
Yeah,
Everybody on the team. Russ done played 14 years. At the same time, you guys on the court should be able to just figure some things out. Okay. It's not like I'm playing with, it's not like I'm Ime and we the Rockets.
Yeah.
Well, like, we got a whole bunch of young players. Like,
Nah,
you guys
true.
should be able to figure out some things out. So I think it goes hand in hand.
Okay. Do you think, should Tyronn Lue start to feel any of this blame and pressure as we go forward?
Oh, he feels it already, and it comes with not getting a contract extension.
Okay.
If necessarily, if the organization up top felt that Tyronn Lue had that mental toughness, we wouldn't be questioning a few things. We wouldn't be questioning him or PG in regards to contract talks. It would already been set in stone, signed, sealed, and delivered. But there is something that someone is saying above that we're seeing that is not inserted. Of course, I have veterans. Yes, they're supposed to be clicking into place.
Yep.
But they're not clicking into place, which after so many trials and effort, if they're not clicking into place, I'm going to look at one source, and that's the coach.
Yeah, so, hey, we got more to talk to you about, Clipper Nation. We're going to come back. Can this team turn it on? You know, can this team be one of those teams that say, hey, we got into this rut, but we're going to turn it on and make a push towards the title? We got that and more for you, Clipper Nation, after the break.
these
are the breaks.
These are the breaks.
You know what it is.
Profanity Nation. A podcast for the fans, by the fans. Dive deep into the topics the other shows miss, raw and uncensored.
And he's going to play team ball. His legacy is at stake.
Rare, hard-hitting interviews with players, coaches, and you, the super fans.
I'm not hating. I'm like, okay, cool. Good.
3 championships in 5 years. He's more than good, bro.
Profanity Nation. Listen live or subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Powered by Jesse Brown of Keller Williams.
Clipper Nation, welcome back to your favorite show, Full Clip Clippers Unleashed. Myself, Mykell Mathieu, my guy Beav, and our special guest, Hoops N Brews, Pavy, man, my guy. So, Clipper Nation, you can let us know what are you guys feeling about your Clippers? Do you think they're where you want them to be, or what can they improve on? You can always comment, show us, and show us some love. But Pavy, we're gonna start here. We left the break talking about teams turning it on. So we had a few teams in the history that's done it. But I can think back. I know like the Rockets in the '90s. They were able to do it. The early 2000 Lakers, they were able to do it that second championship year. I can't really think of any other teams that was able to do that. Miami Heat, because they had, the big three and things like that. Can this Clipper team do it? What you guys think?
No. We have seen no evidence. Look, as far as turn it on goes, two teams in the lead, I'm like, okay, if y'all not playing well, y'all the Nuggets,
okay,
obviously because they won last year, and you saw before the All-Star break, they were playing good. I think they've lost once since the All-Star break. Like, the Denver Nuggets for sure, and the Miami Heat just because of Coach Spo, and you can't really count even like last year, like you can't. I guess it's a real thing, or like some random person like Max Strutz and Gabe Vincent turned into Allen Iverson. Halfway through the playoffs. Like, Miami Heat and Nuggets, cool. Okay. The Clippers, we have seen no evidence of this over the years. Y'all ain't even played that much together over the years. Turn it on. Y'all ain't even been on the court together. Yeah, like, literally, they ain't been on the court together. I think they played, 60 games together this season, Kawhi and PG? It's the most since they've been here. They've been here 4 years. 4 years. So, no, we've seen no evidence that they can turn it on. No, y'all need to go into the playoffs rolling. And number one, if you go play the Pelicans, you want to try to turn it on against the Pelicans?
Yeah, because that's what it looks like.
That's especially with the way Zion looking right now. You still got B.I. You still got Valanciunas. You still got CJ.
Yeah.
B.I. We're going to hold B.I. He's still under investigation. He got injured today.
Fair.
Last night in regards to Orlando. So he's still under investigation.
But for those Clipper fans out there that are like, yo, we saw this team go 23-5 and that stretch from like December going to January where I was telling you, like, yo, this might be the best team in the NBA, especially with a healthy Kawhi who's playing games, as long as they're healthy. But you don't think, are you with Pavy, you don't think, Beav, that they can make that push and make a run and just turn it on and become a champion?
Well, I told you hold your horses back then. You didn't believe me. He said, they be the best team. No. You're speaking more from a reporter standpoint, man. Me too, but I'm going to speak from a true fan. And it's hell no. The Clippers are still under investigation.
Okay.
And it's top to bottom. Not necessarily like the owner of the team, but I'm going to start with Lawrence Frank.
Okay.
Lawrence Frank is still under investigation just because of the type of team that you're building.
Yeah.
It goes down to Tyronn Lue, the voice behind the whole team. If it's friction between the GM and the coach, it's always going to trickle to the team. And then it goes down to the big three.
Big four.
Big three.
Big three, okay.
Big three. I don't have no gripe with Russ. Russ do what Russ do. Russ is not the issue. The issue, again, it comes to Paul George, Kawhi, and James.
Okay.
And then also with the coaching staff too, you got to let the young bulls play because you got to understand, you being an older team, when they get tired, if players like Brandon Boston comes in and do what they're supposed to do, you got Bones Highland right now that's in a slump because he has never experienced a full season or a season where he was in, and you go through a slump and you come out of that slump. If these young players don't experience that, when it comes to playoff time, you're going to lose. If you look at the Denver Nuggets with Jokic and everybody, they had young players that came in and took care of business. If you look at Miami Heat, they have no names.
Yeah.
That comes in, take care of business. Because as soon as they leave Miami, you don't hear about them no more.
But see,
other than
except for Max Strus.
Yeah,
shout out Max Strus.
Shout out Max doing the
Max
scene with
Strus
Cleveland.
and
Chicago legend.
Yeah, but that's where you look at Tyronn Lue, right? Because we look at Spo, and we like Spo, he's that guy, and he proves it year after year. You hear so much love for Tyronn Lue, and you have these guys. You should be able to press a button to where you guys can make a push.
But again, it just comes from, I'm going to kind of trump that. I'm going to go to Miami Heat and the culture. It started with Pat Riley. You heard what he said in regards to
Steve Ballmer don't got no culture. He bringing in.
He's rebranding it. The culture is starting to come around, but you got to destroy it to rebuild it.
Yeah.
But with the Heat culture, he literally told what's that boy name? The point guard. He just got traded to Philly.
Who was that?
Kyle Lowry.
Kyle Lowry.
He told him to lose weight.
Oh yeah.
They have a body
program,
program in Miami that everyone needs to hit. They have a certain regimen that everyone needs to do. And the Clippers don't have that. Not saying they have to go that extreme.
Yeah.
But it starts from top to bottom.
So,
I also think that having too many players who can play is kind of an issue.
Okay.
Like, I think that having so many weapons can be like, because it is like, oh, well, we got this guy, so we're going to throw this guy. We're going to throw this guy. We're going to throw this guy. And I think that can sometimes be an issue because it's not simplifying it for you.
Too many chefs in the kitchen.
Yeah, it's just like not simplifying it for you. And it's unfortunate because somebody not going to play.
Yeah.
You know, and these guys can all play somewhere else. Like if Bones Allen was in, I don't know, Chicago, he be getting minutes.
Yeah, starting probably.
Well, I don't know about starting, but he definitely getting minutes. Like if I don't know if Amir's been playing now, but if Amir was somewhere else, if Brandon Boss was somewhere else, if PJ was somewhere else, all these guys will be getting minutes. So I also think that sometimes having too many weapons can be an issue. Now I understand why the Clippers do it because they haven't had the bill of health for the past I don't know how long. So I get why they do it. But you know, I just think that could sometimes be not necessarily positive.
So there's a group that I think a lot of Clipper fans, Clipper media are overlooking because we talk about James, we talk about Paul George, Kawhi, Russ, Norman Powell, these guys, but the bigs. During that stretch when they went 23-5, the bigs were playing great basketball. Zubac was a Mr. Double-Double. You had Tights. It was like, what a nice addition he has been. And Plumlee was out, but when he came back, he brought some more energy. Should we start critiquing those guys more? Because I believe that they need the bigs to perform and play well for them to win a championship.
I definitely think you need the bigs, especially if you're going to play a team like Denver, right?
Yeah.
You got to get physical with Jokic. So you're going to need 3 bodies so you can throw it there and make it rough. But also with the bigs, it's not like Zubac is you going to throw in the ball, you going to give him 20 touches, he going to back down, do hook shots. You got to like get him involved. So if the team is slumping, they're probably going to slump because like those guys play off the other guys. Yep. So if James is playing well, Zubac probably going to play well because pick and roll, catch the ball, lay it up. As long as you can catch, you'll be all right. So them slumping, I think, is right along with the team slumping.
Okay.
And them being inconsistent. So I think if the team plays better, they'll play better.
What's your thoughts? What do you think? What are you looking for when it comes to the bigs that they can be doing better to help this team be successful and start to make that push? Because we're saying it right now here on the show that they need to start winning some games and closing the season well, but the bigs are going to be a big part of that. What do they need to do?
Consistency. If you remember during that time when they was winning, the lineup really consisted of Zubac and Tice.
Yep.
Because Plum was hurt. And you had rumbles from the bench with PJ and stuff like that. But once we started incorporating and started tweaking things, PJ's now start showing up with minutes. And you got Plumlee starting to take over Tice minutes. You have to stay consistent to build a good recipe. I can't be in the kitchen and I'm cooking soul food and all of a sudden I'm adding salt in certain dishes that don't deserve salt and I'm adding sugar in certain dishes that don't deserve sugar.
Okay.
Even though, I know you don't want to cut down your bench, but that chatter at the end of the bench should have stayed chatter. Because once you start incorporating him and start feeding his minutes, now you're taking minutes that is more consistent for Tice. Okay. You're taking minutes away. If you play Plumlee more, you're taking minutes that's more consistent for Tice and things like that. Now, injuries does arrive. Yeah. And when the injuries arrive, then whoever was on the bench come in and play. But if you keep tweaking and twerking the lineups, and I said twerking.
Don't be twerking out there.
No, that's what they doing. Now you're just out here just hands on their knees like they big sex or something. And it's messing up the whole flow of the game because the Clippers are not consistent. Okay. Ever since the All-Star break, is no consistency at all. Okay.
Yeah, so, hey, Clipper Nation, let us know what you guys think. You can always comment below. What big rotation would you guys like to see? Do you like Zubac, Tice? Do you want to see all three of the bigs play? Because they're going to be a big part going forward. But, hey, this last segment is going to be so much fun. We're going to really wake you up with this one. We're going to talk about Doc Rivers. He said a player that he feels should be the first Clipper with his jersey retired. And me, Beav, Pavy, we're about to have a ball with this one. Catch you guys after the break.
And these are the breaks.
These are the breaks.
You know what it is.
Profanity Nation. A podcast for the fans, by the fans. Dive deep into the topics the other shows miss. Raw and uncensored.
And he's going to play team ball. His legacy is at stake.
Rare, hard-hitting interviews with players, coaches, and you, the super fans.
I'm not hating. I'm like, okay, cool. Good.
3 championships in 5 years. He's more than good, bro.
Profanity Nation. Listen live or subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Powered by Jesse Brown of Keller Williams.
Welcome back, Clipper Nation. We're not done just yet, but this is about to be very exciting. Get your popcorn ready for this one. Mykell Mathieu here, my guy Beav, Pavy from Hoops N Brews. Before we go there, I got to give a shout-out to Paul George. I got to look at the phone here. I got the stats. He got the franchise record for threes made in a single season Wednesday night against Portland. Shout out to PG. Keep doing your thing. We need to see more hooping P than podcast P going forward. But, you know, much love to you. But I gotta read this quote because it came from the Sloan Knows podcast. Doc Rivers states that DeAndre Jordan deserves to be the first player to have his jersey retired by the Clippers. He said he was the original one. He's all defense, Olympic gold medalist, NBA champion. He stayed there the longest, was traded, never just left. We're going to start with you. B, we're going to start with you, man. What's your thought about DeAndre Jordan getting his jersey in the rafters? First, should he be number one? Should he be the first one? And should he get his jersey, period, in the rafters?
Every week we talk about this, so who should get retired first, man? And I always stand by what I said. Blake Griffin first. Of course, Bob McAdoo.
Yeah.
And then,
it's Buffalo.
That's not happening, but I feel you.
But it's going to happen. And then after that, Blake Griffin, CP3, and DeAndre Jordan. The thing is, you have to put that Lob City in there, but I don't. And Doc Rivers said he won a championship. It wasn't with me.
Yeah.
Right? It wasn't with me. Like he won a championship with Denver. In all regards, you know what I'm saying? Forget them. You know what I mean? I ain't trying to hear that nonsense. Like I'm not wearing no ring. My hands, I'm still single out here. You know what I mean? So if I look at it, I get what he's saying. It's something that we talked about, you know, that some people said DeAndre Jordan should be up there. Yes.
But the first?
And again, I just said no. But yes, he should be up there, but no, not the first.
What about you? You feel he should be the first?
I understand what Doc is saying, and if he was the first, I wouldn't have an issue with it. But I think Blake Griffin should be the first.
Okay.
I mean, if you just so I'm not from LA, but I moved to LA in the middle of the Lob City era.
City, yeah.
So like my first games I went to were Clippers games when the Lakers were like lowly and they weren't winning. And the reason I went was because they had Chris Paul and Blake Griffin. Like Blake, the level of excitement and positivity that he brought to the Clippers, when previously really they didn't really have any of that. Like the Clippers became a show. So I think Blake should be the first one. I think Blake, CP, DJ, and then Lou Will after that all deserve to have their jerseys retired as Clippers, because I think those people really like set the foundation. Then also even like what they had to endure with the Donald Sterling thing, and switching over. True. Like Ballmer probably wouldn't even be the owner if it wasn't for those
for that situation.
Lob City teams.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they really changed the culture, and I mean even look at what the Clippers are worth right now, like Lob City. So yeah.
I'm just thinking about DeAndre Jordan being in anybody Raptors is still like crazy to me because he was a good player. But as far as being a Clipper, it's Blake Griffin, it's Chris Paul. I'm putting Lou Will, I'm putting Elton Brand
over DeAndre Jordan
in front of DeAndre Jordan because DeAndre Jordan was a guy that, as great as he was, and you know he did his thing, made a couple All-Star teams. He was one of the reasons why they weren't winning games because in the playoffs he couldn't stay on the court because you can foul him.
To be fair, all of them was
and
they weren't winning games.
But he was really one of those guys. And then they had to kidnap him to keep him to be a Clipper, which has to be something that you can use against him being in the Raptors. That's why I think Doc Rivers is nuts. It's crazy to say he should ever be the first Clipper to be up there because if you are never the best player of your team, how many teams put their third best guy or fourth best guy in the rafters?
But let's trump some of them statements that you said, right? DeAndre Jordan, we can go through a laundry list of teams that had big men that couldn't be on the floor during closing time and which had to take them off, which they called the DeAndre Jordan rule. Shaq couldn't be on the floor.
Hey, but Shaq was scoring 40 points, 20 rebounds. It's different.
Again, different era, different time. But if you're looking at this one, let's go back to the statement you said about being kidnapped in regards to the Mavs. During that time, everyone was getting money but him. So he felt that he was the odd man out of the group.
It makes sense.
But again, everything got recooked and restructured. That's why they brought him back. That's why he had the agreement to the Mavs because it was written on the wall to keep Blake Griffin and CP3. Some money had to go. But somebody took less money, so that's why he stayed. But if you're looking at what DeAndre did for the organization, he was drafted by the Clippers.
Yeah, second-round pick.
Second-round pick, and again, from a second-round pick to be talked about in the light that he was talked about, to be a type of high flyer that he was from Texas, jumping out the goddamn roof, and to be that, top blocker, that Iron Man before Iron Man, because Zubac took it over, but DeAndre Jordan's the one to solidify. It's a lot of positives in regards to DeAndre Jordan's game, which he should be honored because, again, let's unzip the Laker little lamp that's under your jersey. He is one of those players that brought excitement. He moved to L.A. and went to games to see who? He didn't go to the game to see J.J. Redick. He didn't go to the games to see Willie Green. He went to go see CP3, Paul, Blake Griffin, and DeAndre Jordan. Lob City.
But
that's it.
It's just crazy to me.
It's also going to sound funny. I know it's going to sound funny, but if you go back and look at that era, an argument can be made he was a top 3 to 5 center. From like 2010 to like let's say 16, 17, an argument could be made he was a top 3. I mean, he made All NBA one time.
What did he do to the kid? Was it McKnight?
I was just thinking about that. He's one of the best highlights.
He was one of the best
highlights.
He was breaking them off.
He's one of the best highlights
He has some posters, but it's like it's more than just about being posters. Like DeAndre Jordan was a solid piece for that team, but I believe they couldn't take that next step because of
it wasn't because of DJ. No, it was because of all of them.
But again, this
couldn't make free throws.
This always boils down to, and I tell people this too, right? Your organization views your players at a certain point, and my organization is going to view people at a certain point. People keep talking about the Clippers and how the Clippers don't have nothing. You'll never have nothing. You shouldn't do this. How are you going to tell me what I shouldn't do if I'm looking at players that turn the tide for my organization at a certain point? Right?
Okay.
I could say the knuckleheads, but again, who's going to look at them? But that's another area in the Clippers thing that you can also highlight because they brung even though the Clippers wasn't selling out stuff.
Why couldn't you put them in if you're putting a guy?
They didn't do as much.
They didn't do as much. They
didn't even win games.
The Clippers, these Clippers
they were
here,
exciting though.
they were high flying, exciting. But if you're looking at this team went to the playoffs after Elton Brand, even though people keep shamming him. But after Elton Brand took him to the
Brand before DeAndre Jordan.
After Elton Brand, took him to the playoffs. People were like, "Oh, they're going to do it again."
All NBA.
They took him again to the playoffs, right? They took him again to the playoffs. They took him again, and it became such an outstanding thing of going to the playoffs to where now the Clippers hold the record for having the most winning season in regular season. So what you're looking at as they turned the tide. They got people wanting to come to the city for God's sake.
Chris Paul and Blake Griffin turned the tide.
DJ was a part of that though.
DeAndre Jordan
you can't
was
smut-
part of that.
You can't put an asterisk on him and say like, oh, these two did it, but not him. He did it too.
But this is the question for the Clippers. What type of franchise do you want to be going for when it comes to retiring jerseys? Because if you put a guy like DeAndre Jordan up,
come on, man.
you know,
don't do this.
and I'm not trying. I'm
Don't
looking
do
past
this,
the
man.
Lakers, but
Don't
I'm
do
just
this,
saying,
man.
what type of
Don't
team?
do this, man.
Are we putting everybody in the rafters?
Listen, real quick. If I'm not mistaken, shout out Buck Williams. But if I'm not mistaken, the Nets have Buck Williams jersey retired.
Okay, I gotta go.
You trying to tell me DeAndre Jordan can't get his jersey retired?
I gotta look at
It's
the
not
history
even that.
of
It's not even
Buck
that.
Williams
We're
with
gonna
the Nets.
uncover it. I said we're gonna unzip the Laker lamp because it's burning bright on his chest right now. Even though he's hosting this show, he's burning bright. But if you're looking at it, man, again and again, the Clippers are going to establish who they're going to establish. You can't look at it from no scope. This is what the Clippers is. This is my era. These players deserve to be in the raft.
I'll say one last thing and I'll stop. The Thunder have Nick Collis's jersey retired.
That's true.
And
but he retired. He played nowhere else. That's where he played.
But
he's Mr. Thunder. But hey, we gotta let this go because they're wrong. I'm right. DeAndre Jordan better not be in the Raptors. But he might be because they Clippers guys love him. But hey, we thank you guys for tuning in. Shout out my guy Pavy for tapping in with us. Make sure y'all check out Hoops N Brews. Check out everything that we got going here in Infanity TV. There's some great things going. Clipper Nation. Make sure you check out the game tonight. It's gonna go crazy. We're gonna be back next week talking some more Clippers. Let's see how they do, baby. Peace.
let's go.